Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 251 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. I have a very special guest joining me today. Joining me is a member of the Locked On Cubs podcast, Matt Cozzi. Matt, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me. It was good to meet you a couple weeks ago, and I'm glad we could do this.
Oh, my pleasure. It was a blast. So my first question is, what have been your thoughts on the Chicago Cubs offseason so far?
Yeah, I thought it was a great offseason. I thought they did what they were supposed to do. I know it wasn't on everybody's convenient timeline, and there was some worry throughout December, maybe early January, but in a matter of 4 days, they traded for Edward Cabrera and signed Alex Bregman. And to pull off not only one but two big moves was really impressive. And I wouldn't say they're the clear-cut favorite now entering the year, but it's close to that. And I think what makes it really impactful is that they won 92 games last year. They made the playoffs, and they returned a lot of those guys, veterans, young players. And now you add Cabrera and Bregman to the mix. They rebuilt their bullpen. So there's still some question marks, in a few areas of the team, but most teams have that. And I think as we sit here recording 2 weeks from opening day, I feel really excited, and I can't wait for it to get here.
Oh, it's always exciting for baseball season, but what, in your eyes, what few areas do you think the Cubs still have a bit of issues at?
Well, I'm curious to how the mix in the bullpen works out. That was the group that had the most turnover, but they also made the most additions. They signed four or five relievers. There's really only one reliever spot right now that's up for grabs as the time of this recording, because I feel like based on their signings they made in the offseason, there's a lot that is set in stone. And that's an area where out of the gate they've really struggled the last few years. So I'm hoping with a lot more veterans down there and maybe some more answered questions, they lead off the season better. 'Cause I just remember a lot of Aprils the last couple of years where they were blowing games, and they seemed to be on shaky ground, and they would finally even out like May or June. So I think we're all kind of peeking over at the bullpen. Um, and then the rotation, it has upside in it with Cabrera now, Cade Horton. I think when he's clicking on all cylinders is going to be really special. But then after that, they just have a lot of depth. And so where does that depth and the upside intersect? Right now, it probably is only at Horton and Cabrera. So you just hope that depth sustains enough impact throughout the year.
That is interesting. And speaking of baseball, the World Baseball Classic is still happening.
Yeah.
What have you enjoyed about the World Baseball Classic so far?
Yeah, I've enjoyed really getting an appetizer to the real season. They're really competitive games. They're going all out. I'm glad the pitchers have, strict pitch limits, so nothing, too crazy happens. But I think the back and forth nature has been really good. I think the drama after Mark DeRosa's gaffe the other night, it
Oh,
was short-lived drama because Italy wanted a blowout on Wednesday night. But um, I think the Elite Eight, if you will, is going to be fun starting this weekend. And yeah, I think it's almost like the baseball Olympics, I would call it.
that's a
And it's
fair
every 3 years. That's not often. So yeah, I've gotten into it a little more than I thought. I think I was proceeding with caution just because I want all the Cubs to return to camp healthy, and everyone's been healthy so far. So knock on wood.
always.
Yeah.
Um, so during spring training and World Baseball Classic, if we're gonna combine both together, what has surprised you so far?
Uh, Unfortunately, the amount of home runs the Cubs pitchers have given up.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's been one after the other. I know that there's been pitchers who've been on record saying like, "Hey, especially early in spring, we're just working on stuff." But with 2 weeks till opening day, you start to get a little more curious about that. So I would say that surprised me the most. Uh, and what's been really cool, I don't think it's a surprise, but just a reinforcement is Seiya Suzuki's play. He seems to really rise to the occasion. We saw that in the playoffs last year. We're seeing that in the WBC now for Japan. So I would say those two things.
Nice. And I would actually agree with Suzuki, especially that he kind of climbed up into the top 10 MVP
Yeah.
candidates. And if he keeps it up, I think he could be a big part of their offense all
Mm.
season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hopefully.
This will actually jump into my next question. Actually, who do you think will lead the Cubs in home runs this season?
I'm going to say Michael Bush.
Ooh, Bush?
Yeah, he had a
Dang.
breakout year last year. He had 34.
Did
Then
he
he was
really hit 30?
amazing in the playoffs, right? Didn't Bush hit 34 last year?
Yes, he did. I actually have the stats right in front of
Yeah.
me.
And then he was amazing in the playoffs. Craig Counsell put him in the leadoff spot in mid-July, that series against the Yankees right before the All-Star break. He pretty much hit leadoff the rest of the year. I think he's going to play every day this year. You know, he's against lefties. He's still going to start most of the time. So I would say Bush right now, maybe say a two, PCA three, something like that.
Ooh, I don't disagree, but I actually think it's gonna be PCA.
Nice.
I think we're gonna see a 40 home run, 40 double, 40 stolen base season. I wish I could say 40 triples, but that's impossible to
Right,
triples
right.
in a
Well,
season.
if he goes 40, 40, 40 like that, then I don't see how the Cubs don't win 90 plus again, right?
Oh, yes. And even with Bregman, dare I say, maybe they win close to 100. I
Wow.
personally don't think they'll get to 100. I
Yeah,
think they'll get close.
that's wild.
Ooh, let's actually let's actually do some quick Cub bull takes.
Okay.
Actually, I kind of already said mine, technically. I'll have you start.
Yeah, I would say so. I think I have four actually, because
Ooh, okay.
we just did this on an episode earlier this week. So
All right.
uh although I think some team predictions would be good too. Maybe we could get to that later because
For sure.
I do think the goal is 90 wins again. Um, so I think Michael Bush goes to the All-Star game.
Ooh,
I
okay.
think,
I can see that realistically.
yeah, I mean, the first base in the NL, like it's hard to make it because you have Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson, Bryce Harper,
Obviously.
a couple others. So it's going to be hard, but you know, if he's on pace for 40 plus homers, and I think, you know, he will make it. So that's my first one. Uh, my second one is Daniel Palencia getting 30 plus saves. He would be the first Cubs closer to record 30 plus saves since Wade Davis did it. And I believe that was 2017. So it's
That
been almost 10 years.
that should be about right.
And Palencia took over the closer role in like late May last year and he had 22 saves. So now being the closer out of the gate, I don't think 30 plus is that bold of a prediction. But I think it will be nice to have a solidified person in the ninth inning all year, and I hope he's up to it because he could realistically be the closer for many years. Um, I have a little less bold prediction with PCA now since you gave yours. I think
Hmm.
he's going to do 30-30 again. I mean, it would be historic if he went 40-40, but I think he's going to do 30-30 again. And then probably my boldest prediction that I still need to narrow down and figure out like exactly why I'm predicting this. Maybe it's payroll, maybe it's just the group of pitchers. But I think one of the starting rotation guys, Bill, that's going to be a free agent after this year, Boyd, Tyone, and Shota. I think one of those three gets traded this year.
Ooh, that is a bold take.
Yeah.
But out of the three, who do you think's more likely?
Probably Boyd. Shota's making the most because Tyone has a limited no trade clause to, I believe, 10 teams. And Shota's making the most money out of those three. So I'd say Boyd is the most likely just because of that. But I think they would want to trade Shota the most, would be my guess.
Okay. I mean, I do like Shota. I will admit
Yeah, me too.
his stuff is nasty.
I didn't think he was going to come back, and then he did on the 1 year qualifying offer. So I hope he could rebound.
You know what? Since I did gave my PCA Bowl take,
Yeah,
Shota's gonna be my next one. I think he's gonna have a bounce back year. I think he'll finish somewhere in the top five, top 10 in the if there were, I don't think there is. If there was a bounce back of the year candidate for National League for specifically pitchers, I think Shota easily is in my books.
yeah, like a comeback player of the year type thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Maybe not against my White Sox. No offense,
right,
the
right.
White Sox.
Yeah, how are you feeling about them?
uh, uh, you know, I guess speaking of my White Sox really quick, I mixed feelings. I mean, I liked how Will Venable managed them last year,
Yep,
and I was happy that they improved from 60 wins, which was 19 compared to the year before that I don't want to remember.
right.
If they could get to at least 65, 70, then I'll be happy. As long as they could
Okay.
basically climb up. But the new core is my question. How far can they go? Because I'll be honest, the last core, all of us White Sox fans thought of Abreu, Anderson, Grandal, Jimenez, Moncada, now Robert Jr. on the Mets. We
Right.
went nowhere.
Do you allow yourself, despite their struggles the last few years, do you allow yourself to get giddy for opening day in the first couple weeks? Like when March 26th rolls around, like will you get up with excitement that morning, or what do you think you'll feel like?
Yes. Oh, I'm always excited for opening day. I
Okay,
always,
okay.
especially for football, basketball, and hockey, I always have that feeling because there comes a time in the offseason where I'm like, can we just start the season already? And then
Yeah,
when it's there, I'm like, hallelujah.
right, right.
Um, actually, my third Cubs take, Ian Happ's gonna keep climbing in the
Okay.
all-time Cubs home run leader list. Now, at the website I'm looking at, Ian
Mhm.
Happ currently sits 15th on the all-time Cubs leader list with
Wow.
173. I think he climbs past 10.
Okay.
At number 10 is Hank Sauer with 198. I think Ian on a contract year, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he's a free agent after this season.
He is, yeah.
On a contract year, Ian Happ's going to go off and climb up the charts.
So not to put you on the spot, but what's the math behind that? Well, how many homers would that be?
So 173, let's see. So 198, that's 25. I think he gets close to 30.
Okay, yeah.
I,
Yeah, I
I
don't I don't think that I think he's capable of it.
27 realistically.
I think that's very fair. If he does, he should be able to do that. Like a few years ago, his homer total started with a one. He hit like 18 homers. It's like, dude, you gotta at least hit 20 plus.
And he's consistently, I believe, since 2021. Trying to remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Well, 2021, he had a pretty bad year, but then 22 through 20 up to this point through 25 last year, he's been really solid.
just a solid good player
He
and a
is.
good
Yeah, you know
defender.
what you're gonna get. He's a B player. You throw in his gold glove defense, you can maybe talk yourself into B plus.
I'm with you on that. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he's not an A plus, where from a team
No.
standpoint, you go like, wow, you're amazing. B plus, you're like,
Yeah.
you're solid. Go out there and play left. Ooh, okay, my fourth one.
Okay.
I will admit, as a White Sox fan, this will hurt me, but I think it's realistic.
All right.
I think the Cubs will sign Lucas Giolito. I am still brain exploded that Lucas Giolito is a free agent still.
Hmm.
How on earth has this guy not signed? And honestly, I could see this happen for ways. One, I don't think he's going to cost the Cubs way too much, even if it was just for this season. And two, he actually does bring good pitching depth. He will bring in right now it could look like a 7-man rotation because I could realistically see Shota or Giolito be one of those like maybe you start a day or two, then maybe you come out of the bullpen.
Hmm.
And obviously, Giolito was a case of two in 2023. If you look at 2023 with the White Sox, he actually wasn't bad. But if you look at with the Angels and Guardians, yeah, that's a different story. And he wasn't awful with the Red Sox last year. So I think the Cubs should do Giolito a favor. Just sign him. As long as it's not the Colorado Rockies, then.
Yeah, well, a couple guys signed with the Rockies in the winter, like Jose Quintana.
I feel so bad for him.
Like, why would you
Somebody,
go
somebody
there?
free that man, please.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you want a job, but
Yeah,
okay, Bill, I like that. I like that. I mean, Giolito has to be. I mean, he's easily the best free agent still available, right?
1000% yes.
Pitcher or position player. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I,
I like that. I like that. I'm not against more depth from a pitching standpoint. Again, I don't really have any questions about the Cubs offense. I feel like they rebuilt their bullpen, although when it's time to um, really perform, we'll see if they answer the bell. But yeah, I mean, the more the merrier in the rotation. I don't think they want to get back into a corner like they did last October. Game
no,
five of the NLDS, they used an opener. Um, I think that scared them, and I think that contributed to some of the moves they made the last few months. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they had another veteran. I don't know if it would be of Giolito's ilk, whether it's just because of maybe his desires for playing time or money or both. But if not him, I could definitely see a late March signing here.
for sure. Um, all right.
Why don't the Sox sign him?
Let me go to Chris Getz's office and talk to him.
Right, right. I mean,
Come
they
on.
could use pitching.
1000% yes. Well, during our young pitching,
Do you
although,
feel like the fans would like him coming back?
yeah, why not? It's a
Okay.
one-year deal.
Yeah.
Anybody but the Rockies, then I'm
I
good.
think Murakami hits 30 plus homers.
I could realistically see that. I mean,
Yeah.
from what I've been told, his defense is questionable, but if he hits 25 to 30, then I'll be happy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, I'm willing to give one of my biggest White Sox bold takes. I think
Okay.
Colson Montgomery sneaks into the top 10 in AL and NL in home runs this season.
Oh, that's cool.
With the pace he was on, he would have been at an almost 50 home run pace. I say Colson Montgomery hits 35. He'll sneak into the top 10.
Wow, then he'll be an all-star for sure.
1000%. I
Okay. Okay. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't have CHSN, Bill, but if I did, and I was just kind of hanging around on a weeknight, like on the days the Cubs have a getaway day or a 120 game, I would like to watch the Sox more.
Oh, please
Um,
come on over to the South Side. We're much fun to watch now.
yeah, yeah. Well, and they could help the Cubs out right off the bat because they play the Brewers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Imagine a Sox sweep and a Cubs sweep. The Brewers would already be three behind in the Central.
yes, but then that also depends on the Reds. But I'm not too worried about Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh
Yeah, they'll be
need
better though.
they need to help Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
I've written a couple stories for the career newspaper. Shout out to all my coworkers and my boss Jim Fuller, but
Oh, cool.
they need help around Paul Skeens. Seriously, if they
Yeah.
don't do it, Paul Skeens is a gone goose.
Yeah, I mean they got Ryan O'Hearn, Marcelo Zuna,
Yep,
couple pitchers. They got good young pitching, obviously with one of the best on the planet, Skeens. I
easily.
think they will be better. The Reds losing Hunter Green is a big deal. I don't know if you saw that this week.
I did hear. Did he need like Tommy John?
Not Tommy John, but he
Oh,
need
thank
he needs some
goodness.
cleanup around his elbow area, and I think
Oh boy.
he probably won't be back till like July.
Ooh,
Um, and I still really respect the Brewers. I think they're going to be really good again.
I to me the Brewers they're gonna be like the National League version of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Right.
Yeah, realistically, you could look and be like, this team is not even good, but then they're gonna prove you wrong. Like I kind of had that feeling almost 10, 9 years ago with Tampa Bay, but then they just keep proving us wrong. I'm like, oh,
Right. Right. Guardians, a little similar, right?
yeah. I mean,
The Rays is a better comparison. You're right.
easily.
And then the Cardinals, I mean, their over under win total right now is like 68. They're going to be pretty bad.
I don't see Cardinals at 68.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being a little nice and say 65, but
Okay.
I don't think they'll be the worst. I still think that's going to be the Rockies with
Oh, yeah. They're not even going to win 50.
Oh no. I mean, I my condolence goes out to every pitcher for the Colorado Rockies because when you're at Coors Field, you're basically gonna die.
Yeah.
Somebody free Jose Quintana, please.
Right, right, right.
Who do you got as your 2026 World Series so far?
Well, I don't excuse what the Dodgers are doing. I mean, I'm annoyed by it, but on paper, there's no other way to put this. They're clearly the best team. I could definitely see a three-peat for them. They their weakest spots last year were closer and outfield, and then they proceeded to sign the best closer on the market
Edwin
and the
D.
best outfielder. Their over under right now is like 104 and a half,
Ooh,
which is insane. You know, before you even roll the ball out to have that kind of projection. But I think it's warranted. And the AL, I think the Blue Jays are in a great spot again to make the Final Four or maybe even go back to the World Series as well. So those are the two teams that I'm focusing on, and I know it's a little convenient just because that was the matchup last October, but I do think the Dodgers are the best in the NL, and in the AL, it's probably the Blue Jays. I think the Yankees would want to have something to say about that, and then the Mariners.
I actually I have the Dodgers. I mean, there's a re what they're doing is actually smart.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not annoyed by it. Like, I'm fine with what they're doing. I just wish other teams in general could compete like the Dodgers. Not
right.
trying to throw shade. Like, obviously, as a Sox fan, I think we're the only team to not sign 100 plus million, which that drives me crazy. The
Yeah.
Cubs have done it 3 times in the past 10 years with Jason Hayward at 180, 150 to Dansby Swanson, and now 175 to Alex Bregman.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like,
and John Lester too.
how much did he get?
150 something.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so those I think it's just been those four, but yeah, that makes a difference.
It does. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
Don't ask the Los Angeles Angels that with Anthony Rizzo,
Yeah.
Albert Pujols,
Yeah,
Josh
yeah, for
Hamilton.
sure.
Um, I kind of want to know, even though I'm not really a Cub fan, but I love Shota. But I gotta ask
Yeah.
this. In your eyes as a Cub fan, what would a successful season look like to you?
Yeah, I think for them to have this long of a drought, not winning the NL Central, I feel like that's step one. Of course, they could have a special year making the playoffs as a wild card team, but I just think taking back the division seems like the initial step, and I think it's a fair one. Um, so I'd say that's first. I always feel like, especially with the prominence of the Dodgers, and maybe I am, conceding here a little bit, but I just think making the Final Four is a major accomplishment. To get to the NLCS after winning a division and 90 plus games, that's a good year. I think we need to do some redefining. I think it's a great year, special year. I think we need to do some redefining of terms and not get in this battle of like language all the time. Like, oh, the World Series is the only successful season. Well, in a sport where you play 162 and then have, kind of a goofy playoff setup, where you go from a marathon to a sprint to determine the champion. I just think being one of the last four is, I think that's a great goal. Um, and if it's Cubs Dodgers in this example, all right, you made the final four, you won 90 plus, you won your division. Now let's see what happens, especially if all their pitching and really they're all most of their roster, all their roster is healthy. So I had a similar measuring stick last year. Although to make the playoffs for the first time in a full season since 2018, I just feel like that was a big deal. But I, yeah, I just feel like being one of the last four teams, like that's the goal right now.
Honestly, I think that's really fair. It's all about taking like step by step.
Yeah,
It's easy. I mean, it's easy for the Dodgers to go, yeah, World Series, because even if I were to do a tier list, some teams that tend to have like World Series or bust,
right.
another team will have make the playoffs, and another team will have like make wild card or something, which
Mhm.
actually I think I agree. I think for a successful 2026 Cubs season, if they make it to the final four, that's good. Because then that could also tell us that now it's make it to World Series for the first
Yeah,
time since 2016.
for sure. Yeah, and that's I like the Bregman to John Lester comp. I know that's been getting some love. Like when they signed John Lester, it signaled like their time to win in the 2010s. But what's different about that this year is they just won a lot last year. And so, if you remember 2014, the Cubs were not good.
No.
And then they signed Lester and they got into the playoffs.
And
And then it
became
was the
Bill Matt.
following year they won the World Series. So I think, you could convince yourself of a similar pattern. But really they should be ready to strike right away. And that's why I think the Bregman move, the Cabrera move really, really signals that.
I think so too. I think my last question is going to be
Yeah, sure.
so you obviously had a bit of journalism experience
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and for someone like me who currently does a podcast is trying to get into the broadcast journalism area, what are some advices you have for us podcasters, journalists, all that wonderful stuff?
Well, I think you're ahead of the game already. I mean, if this is episode 251, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Bill, I really feel like what would you say you're most passionate about in terms of like if you had to say, "Hey, I'm most passionate about this team," what team would it be?
If I had to pick one, because my podcast, I try to talk about every team.
Right.
Chicago wise, the Bulls for basketball, and hockey wise, the Blackhawks,
Right.
and lately the Carolina Hurricanes. Not only do I like what they've been doing with their group, but I also got a few relatives from there. A lot of people, shout out to my coworkers and boss, but they always make fun of me. For football wise, I'm a Packer fan. I can
Okay.
explain. I can explain.
Yeah.
Better success than the Bears if you look at their overall history. And obviously, Clay Matthews was one of my all-time favorite football players growing up.
Mhm.
Baseball wise, White Sox, although no shade at the Cubs, but they've had players that I've liked. Shota's one I really like. Rizzo, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for.
Mhm.
Suzuki is quietly growing on me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And yeah, baseball wise, the White Sox. And I tend to root for the Nationals because for a while I've really liked Bryce Harper and Max Scherzer. And I just liked how Mike Rizzo at the time was building, and I wish the White Sox can do that. And credit to the Cubs, they're currently doing it. So I have a bit of appreciation on that.
Yeah, I guess where I was going with that question was like because I look at these questions now that you ask me like in a team specific lens
Mhm.
because I believe that as the industry keeps changing, there is still some opportunities.
For sure.
And, if Locked On had a Locked On White Sox opening, for example,
Oh, I'll sign up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the first questions they would ask is, what are you up to now? And I actually had a friend, Bill, who had a similar situation. The Locked On Illini show was open,
Oh.
and my friend reached out to Locked On, and Locked On took his call. And
Hmm.
then Locked On goes, "Hey, what? Can you send us a link to your current show?" And he's like, "Well, I don't have one." And so then he didn't hear from Locked On again.
Oh,
And
dang.
so I really think my biggest guidance is to keep up the reps because someone is going to notice that eventually, depending on what you want to do, your desires, matching, opportunity with the reps and being ready if the opportunity does come across your desk. Um, so I think that's my biggest advice, but that's not really new news to you because you've been doing it for hundreds of episodes now. Staying on top of the industry, I think is always a good idea, like looking at what's happening, digitally and the kind of the movers and shakers in the industry. But if yeah, I just think practically speaking and remembering our story, it's just getting the reps and also being open to really small opportunities too. Maybe you are doing something full time and you're supporting yourself, and then one day a week you're getting a little bit, of support from a sports show or something. And so I think just being open to possibilities like that too.
That's actually awesome. For myself personally, I'm trying to keep myself open for every team because what I never want to do is say like I have like one team desire, like a one position, because I feel like I'm setting myself up for disappointment.
Yeah.
Keep it open, but if I keep the cards open, then I think there's a chance I'll be able to get in regardless.
Yeah, because you're keeping like different rhythms for different teams. Yeah, I think that's good.
All right, Matt, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, this was awesome. Let's do it again sometime this
1000%.
summer.
1000%.
Yeah.
This concludes episode 251 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. Thank you everyone for listening in. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Stay tuned for episode number 252. Peace.